Firemen don't spend all of their time running into burning buildings. They have to be prepared to come to the rescue in a wide variety of dangerous situations. One of the most cited violations in the workplace is the lack of a confined spaces rescue team. Most fire departments do not provide standby confined space rescue services for businesses in their jurisdiction.
We have a technical rescue team on each unit. Southfield overall has a pretty robust team. Everyone in the county kind of looks for us. We've been one of the leaders in Oakland County for technical rescue for a long time. And so what we do is we try to make sure that on every day we have a minimum number of people trained in all the disciplines. So if we do have to make a rescue, we can start doing that rescue and maybe get it done before everyone else from the surrounding communities come in to help us. Not that we don't want the help, but the more efficient we can do and the better we're at it, the better it is for the citizens.
The Southfield Fire Department has a training field, but it was pouring down rain and the trainers came up with an alternative.
What we did is we have to make entry, and what we did is we built this pipe, we put it vertical so to simulate like a manhole, like we're coming down, and then once we got to the bottom we kind of blacked it out with the tarp, and then what we did is we took a 18-inch and a 24-inch tube, sonotube that we use for our training, and we ran those in a horseshoe shape. And it was just so that we could use our stuff inside and not really get it all nasty and muddy and keep everyone kind of nice inside so we didn't ruin our stuff. And it allows our rescuers to do the exact same thing they would in a confined space, but it gives us a little more control in the environment and how we're going to set up our rescues.
In today's confined space exercise, we are simulating a hazardous situation with a toxic environment. Firefighters are being tasked with going down and rescuing a victim with an injury, someone who has been working in a confined space and is unable to self-rescue.
Our disciplines kind of mesh together a little bit, and confined space is one of those where our rope rescue world kind of meshes with the confined space. And that's just the nature of making some of the entries. It's a long distance from the top of the hole to the bottom. We use a rope system. We use a belay system, which is our safety, our backup. In case anything happens, the belay kicks in. It's redundancy we build into everything. Everything we do in the rescue world has got like redundancy built into it to make sure we're safe, not only for us, but for our victims. If we get hurt, we can't help the other person. So we make sure we build that into there. Before I got hired into Southfield, I worked at a Ford plant, and I was a confined space rescue guy. We had a super simple one, and this is how the confined space go. We trained for very basic and very detailed. It's a matter of the guy was in a horizontal space, and all we had to do was reach in and just pull him. However, we had to do some air monitoring. We had to wear our stuff because the air inside the space he was in is what caused him to pass out. In Southfield, over there near Tamarack Trail, we had the big lift stations about 200 feet down, and we had someone go down in the hole. So we had to be able to set up our tripod over top. We had to, everything we trained for here with the tall, long horizontal entry, we had to go down, we had to make the rescue.
As part of the rescue training, each student dons air units and utilizes patient packaging, basic rope rigging systems, as well as mechanical retrieval systems.
Yeah, our SABA system, which is a supplied air system. It's not oxygen, because oxygen we don't want to have in a confined space because it's flammable. But what it is it's regular breathing air. It's the same bottles that we use in our packs. We have multiple ones, and we can put 2 in a system. And with our SABA system, it allows our rescuers to go on a line so they don't have the big tanks, so they stay a smaller profile so we can make entry into some tighter spaces, and allows us to go up to 300 feet, sometimes longer if we hook more hoses.
In these tight areas, fresh air is at a premium, and firefighters need to take air for them and their victims, as well as communication equipment.
So with our SABA systems, we have a communication line incorporated into that. Nice thing about that is with our communication system is we have a little mic. If we find our victim, we can drop to them or move to them or use DPW with their little robot, and we can take the mic to them. But we also have a system that allows our rescuers to speak to the person in charge, and for our person in charge to speak to the rescuers, the team outside doing all the rigging, and our victim. And all individually, so you know, we don't necessarily want our victim to hear what the rescuers are saying and vice versa, you know. We have a belay system. Our belay system is just our backup system to our main line. So with our main line, it's made to do our up and our lower and up and down. Our belay system is a backup system that we hook to ourselves, and it's hooked to a separate anchor, completely different rope, and it has elasticity built into it. So what happens if you were to fall on something happened in the main line and you were to fall, that belay line would catch you, but it wouldn't stop you right away. It would slow you down within a couple feet. That way you're not taking a really straight strong hit right away. It slows you down to kind of not shock load your spine and back. We use pulleys on our overhead anchor to change the ropes and reduce friction. We use a lot of double pulleys to make mechanical advantages, and we use the mechanical advantages to lift someone. If we had a 200-pound person in the hole and we wanted to lift them, it's very tough to pull straight up 200 pounds. So we'll build a 4-to-1 mechanical advantage. And that creates, basically we're lifting a quarter of the person's weight. So a 200-pound person, we're only lifting 50 pounds. Super, super dark down there. Very confined. I've done it a few times. As you can imagine, I'm not your first pick to make entry into confined space. But yeah, we have all sorts of hazards down there. Poor atmosphere, that's why we always wear our SCBAs or the SABA system we were talking about earlier. We do air monitoring to make sure. We do ventilation to try to make it more tenable for our victim. The tightness in there, the lack of visibility, and there's other hazards too. Animals, bugs. Captain Deneau and I, one time we were doing a rescue and I was behind him. He asked me if I saw how big the centipedes were. I reached up, turned off my light, told nope. So yeah, we have a lot of insects that can be down there. We've had raccoons in our tunnels back here when we've done training. So lots of hazards associated with her. But there's a lot that goes into rescue. You have to manage with 300 feet of line. You can imagine how you start bunching up, it gets coiled, it gets twisted. So you have your air supply, your communications equipment, your partner's air supply and communications equipment. Each one of you are on your own separate tag line, so we have to be connected up top in case something happens, a retrieval line. Then we're also bringing a retrieval line in and some type of packaging system for the patient. So we're bringing all of that in, and then when we're coming out, now we've stretched this to the max, and now we're kind of pushing it. You know, if you take a piece of string and push it, what happens? It all bunches up. So we got to kind of manage our system. So not only are the people inside the hole managing what they have to do, but our people up top are managing using that communication system and the ropes pulling.